Hi everyone, I'm Scott from Sharkey's Greenhouses and Beat Your Neighbor Fertilizer, and today we're talking about cleaning up and the care of geranium hanging baskets. But it also, hanging baskets, but also containers and, anything that uses geraniums, you will need to clean them up. So as I turn this around, you can see that there are some areas that are going to need some cleaning up. So there's some spent flowers up here. And then if we really dig into that foliage, there is some foliage that needs to come out of here and get cleaned up. And you really need to do that with geraniums because they do not like having either flowers or spent leaves that have turned yellow and maybe died down. They will fall down and they'll sit on that soil and they'll rot, and that can cause disease that runs into the rest of the plant and really gives you trouble. So geraniums are one of those flowers that you do need to care for and clean up about once a week, and that just keeps you on a program where it keeps this looking very, very good. And then you don't run into the troubles with foliage or the flowers rotting down and destroying the rest of the plant. So about once a week we want to get in here and really look at some of these flowers, and anything that needs to be cleaned up needs to be cleaned up. And I'm going to show you what needs to be done. So when we have a flower like this one here, okay, it's pretty much done. Okay, so we're going to take that flower stem and we're going to follow it all the way down to where it connects to the main stem, and then you just give it a little crack and it comes right off. So grab that, crack it right at its neck. We call it breaking the neck. And right here at that point, you just snap her off. So any of the flowers that are done, that's what you want to do, is go through, follow that all the way down. And see, this one was well due to be taken out of there, because if I pull this out, you can see it's getting funky. We don't want this. So it was time to go through, grab this, get it out of there. Otherwise, this falls down into that plant, gets on top of that soil, and we have troubles later on. So going through anything around it, too, the leaves that are kind of funky, same thing. Take that stem of the leaf, go all the way down where it connects to the main stem, and take it out of there. I've got another flower right here. This one, it still has a little bit of life, but I'm going to go through, I'm doing it today. I'm going to go through and take it out of there because it's going to produce enough flowers. There's a lot of buds on this. It'll have plenty of color. So same thing, took this stem all the way down, cracked that right off at the neck. It's really easy to do once you learn how to do it. And they really produce a mass of foliage, and we really want to look in there to make sure that there's not stuff like this that's sitting down on that soil. Go through, dig in there, find it, and you'll probably see some stuff that needs to come out. So again, take that stuff out of there, get rid of it. So this is my job of the day. We grow our geranium hanging baskets up above, and it's a great area to grow the geraniums because it's hot and it's full sun, and they can really handle the heat. So when I have someone tell me, it just got too hot for my geranium, I'm like, no, you didn't water them. That was what the problem was. But my geraniums, normally they're sitting in 120 degrees because the heat of this greenhouse rises, and if you go up about 8 feet, it gets hot. And if it's a sunny day out or it's warm, it's probably 130 plus degrees up there. And guess what? The geraniums just absolutely thrive up there. They love it. They love that heat. So if it's not 135 degrees in your yard, it's just fine. They can handle the heat, but they do need the proper care. You do need to make sure that you're watering. So let's talk a little bit about the watering for geraniums. Geraniums do not like to have what I call wet feet. Okay, wet feet is a good way to rot the roots. And so if you're overwatering consistently with your geraniums, that's where you're going to run into trouble. They have kind of a delicate root system, and those roots will rot down. So think about, geraniums don't like to have wet feet. So we want to water it. We want to water it adequately so that it's moist all the way through, but not too wet. Certainly not where that water is dripping out the bottom. That's way too much. So if you're consistently doing that where you're watering and that water is coming through, way too much water. You're going to run into trouble. The geraniums are going to fuss, they're going to die, and you're going to be, you know, frustrated with, you know, your care of your geraniums. You're like, ugh, I just can't care for geraniums. Well, you're just doing it wrong. We don't want wet feet. We don't want them dry, you know, really, really dry, but we would like that soil to run a little bit drier. You can use a moisture meter if you're not confident, and you can stick it right in that soil, or this is a built-in moisture meter. It's right on the tip of your hand. Go ahead, stick this in there, and like, yeah, it's getting pretty dry. Go ahead and water them. So that's what the watering care for the geraniums. That's, you know, approximately what they need is, you know, they need their water, but not too much. As I mentioned before, they like full sun. Geraniums need to be in the full sun. Fertilize once a week with the Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer. That keeps these blooms popping. You know, we want to give them the nutrients. We want to see this nice, dark, lush foliage. We'll see that when that nutrients are being fed into them with the Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer, your geraniums are going to show it. So fertilize once a week with the Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer. Otherwise, you know, they're really pretty simple. They do take some care. We do have to take once a week and go through, clean them up, clean up some of the foliage that's dying down. But, you know, look at how beautiful geraniums turn out, and there's, you know, lots of different colors. We love this Rocky Mountain series. These heads get really big. Look at all the buds on this. This thing is going to be huge. You know, there's just color everywhere, and they're just going to be popping with color. So that's some of your care tips for cleaning up geraniums. We're really talking about hanging baskets, but of course that falls into the containers or the pots of them, or, you know, if you have boxes, window boxes with geraniums, it's the same care that you have to go through. Really address it once a week. If you're liking our videos, please be sure to give us a thumbs up and to follow us on Facebook, and also, you know, share it with your friends, but also hop over to YouTube. We have hundreds of videos there, how-to videos, and be sure to subscribe on our YouTube channel. And you can go over to beatyourneighbor.com website, and that's where you'll find our Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer and a lot of other products. But also, we have a lot of blog articles and tips and tricks on how to care for your flowers, and that's at beatyourneighbor.com. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.